In this video, we're going to be sketching a logarithmic and an exponential function with the same base in the coordinate plane by hand. So as we take a look at this, it's not going to be as simple as just plugging it into our calculator, because when we have a log base 3, when it's not a common log, we can't just plug that into the calculator to get our table. So what we're going to do is we're first going to look and see that both our logarithm and our exponential have the same base, and that's important. So we're actually going to find the table for our exponential function first, because that's something that we can do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 as our x coordinates. So 3 raised to the -2 power is going to be 1/9. 3 to the -1 is 1/3. 3 to the 0 power is 1. 3 to the first power is 3. And 3 squared is 9. Now, based off of what we know about exponential and logarithmic functions from their definitions, we know that they're inverses. So that means that if they're inverses, that means the x's will become y's and the y's will become x's. So we're able to just do a quick switch here. It makes it really easy to find the table for our log function. And so from here, we're ready to sketch that by hand. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom in a little bit into our graph so that we're able to get some better marks. So we'll start off by graphing our exponential function. So we'll do -2 and 1/9, which is going to be a point that looks really, really close to 0. Then -1 and 1, which is just a little bit higher. 0 and 1, 1 and 3, and 2 and 9. That's kind of off of our chart, and that's okay. So we're going to go ahead, and now we're ready to graph our gradual curve, the asymptote being the x-axis. Really, really close, and then curve up. And so there's our g of x, or 3 raised to the x, and we're now ready to graph our logarithmic function. So we're going to go to where x is 1/9 and go down to -. Then we're going to go over to 1/3 and go down to -1, which is just a little bit higher. And then we'll go to 1 and go to 0, and cover 0, and then 3, 1, and then 9, 2. 9, 2 is off of our chart here. When we graph this, we know that we're going to have our asymptote come through here, gradual curve come up, and we know that 9 is up there somewhere. So now we have our f of x. And what we'll notice is that they are inverses. And so that same rule kind of applies here. And we see the reflection that occurs with the line y equals x. So we see that reflection taking place. And so that is how you graph an exponential and a logarithmic function by hand. So if you have a log that's not a common log or a natural log and you need to graph it, it might be easier to turn it to exponential form to get your table and then take the inverse of that table to graph it